Happy Thanksgiving. You know when it's time to feast on turkey and pie that it means it's also rivalry week. And that's what we're going to do today. We are going to break down the top FBS rivalry names. Welcome to the Jersey Score. My name is Trevor. Now, if you like talking team uniforms, nicknames, all things sports aesthetic, you've come to the right place. So please subscribe and give this video a like. It helps us bring you more content. Now, because it's rivalry week, we are going to rank the top 10 rivalry names in the FBS. So there's tons and tons of great rivalry names, but we tried to avoid ones that just was a something bowl, or battle for the name your trophy or cup, or just throwing in a state nickname, or an interstate. Really tried to find those that were most creative, just great all-around names for rivalries. At number 10 for best rivalry name, we're going to Conference USA. I know, it surprised me too. The rivalry between Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee State is called 100 Miles of Hate. Now, the name is pretty straightforward, but I love it. It says it all. Close proximity. That could have easily been the Battle of 65 or whatever it is, but they really just said 100 Miles of Hate. When you got hate in the name, you know they mean it. At number 9, we have the Civil War between Oregon and Oregon State. And we know that this name was officially discontinued last year, but we think it's a great name for a rivalry. Now, even if it feels like it's a little overstated, I've been in Oregon during that game, and it hasn't really carried the heat that name might suggest, but we're not rating rivalries, we're rating rivalry names, and we think that's a great name. At number 8, we have the Red River Shootout /Showdown /rivalry. Now, this is a great rivalry between Texas and Oklahoma that everybody knows by name. The problem is we can't seem to agree on a name, so it definitely gets docked points for being inconsistent in that regard, not to mention how hard it is to say. I'm not even going to tell you how many takes it took me to get this right. At number 7, we have the world's largest outdoor cocktail party between Georgia and Florida. And this is a name that says it all due to the crazy amount of tailgating that goes on at this game. It's another name that's been discontinued, but it's so solid and so iconic. It would probably be higher on the list if it weren't just so long and hard to say. At number 6, we're back to Conference USA with the Moonshine Throwdown between Marshall and Western Kentucky. This is a relatively new rivalry as of 2014, and it's not one that I had heard of before I started researching for this video. Actually has me a little bit intrigued. I may actually tune in for once to watch Marshall and Western Kentucky duke it out. At number 5, we have the Holy War between BYU and Utah. And for this, I had to put on my blue sweatshirt to represent. Now, I know that Notre Dame and Boston College also claim this name, but the Holy War, even though the schools are trying to get away from it to try to breed a little bit more civility between the rivalry, the Holy War really is the game between BYU and Utah. Obviously, it gets its name from BYU being affiliated with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Being in Salt Lake, the University of Utah has a lot of connection with the church as well, and definitely one of the top rivalry names. And number 4, we have the Backyard Brawl between Pitt and West Virginia. Now, this rivalry was an unfortunate casualty of conference realignment. The good news is the schools have signed on for a 4-game series starting next season, so it'll be good to have that back. But nonetheless, it continues to be one of the best rivalry names in all of college football. At number 3, we have clean, old-fashioned hate between Georgia and Georgia Tech. Now, I don't know what it is about the SEC having rivalry names that are basically sentences, but this one says it all. This is a very long-standing rivalry between two schools that really, truly do hate each other. I just wish the actual games lived up to the billing, because this name is about as solid as they come. At number 2, we have the Bedlam series, or better known as simply Bedlam, between Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. How awesome is it that one single word can represent an entire, very heated interstate rivalry? such an awesome name, and this year I hope we really do see some bedlam. And our top FBS rivalry name goes to The Game, between Michigan and Ohio State. Now, there have been some other schools that have tried to claim The Game nickname for their rivalry, but when you hear The Game, it means one thing and one thing only. Michigan Wolverines are taking on the school down south, and that no matter how good one team is or how bad the other team is, you know that you're always going to get a heated, very chippy rivalry game that will not disappoint. Now, I know that we're rating the names of the rivalries, not the rivalries themselves, but it is the fact that this rivalry is so heated that it is one of the best in all of college football, if not all of sports, that allows it to have such mystique that you can say The Game and everybody knows what you're talking about. And for that reason, we put this one in at the top. What's your top 10 list of rivalry names in FBS? Which ones did I leave off my list that should have been there? Let me know in the comments down below. Have a happy Thanksgiving, enjoy Rivalry Week, and we'll see you next time.